So I've been a life insurance agent for over 3.5 years now. My first year as a life insurance agent, I sold over $500,000 of final expense life insurance over the phone. I made over $170,000 my first year as a life insurance agent, and that was pure take-home profit. In the last 2 years building an agency, we've done over $5 million in sales. And in this video, I'm going to share with you guys the side of the industry that no one is willing to share. If you're a life insurance agent, this should be a requirement to watch before you get started. But most importantly, a lot of people are going to be upset. A lot of people are probably going to be offended that I'm revealing the truth about the industry. Well, here's the side of the business that no one wants to tell you. And in this video, I'm going to give you guys things that I wish I knew before I got started, the good, the bad, and the ugly, so that you don't have to go through the mistakes and pain that I went through. So the first thing I want to share with you is right here. The first lesson that I wish I learned the hard way was this, that most agents would truly make more money working at McDonald's than being a life insurance agent. Now you might say, Peter, I have people that work at McDonald's. This is not to offend any McDonald's workers, but there's so many people that get started in the industry with all the goals of making all the money. And there's this lie that says that the life insurance industry creates the most millionaires, but that's actually incorrect. The insurance industry does not do that. The actual financial service industry does that, which is so apart from being a life insurance agent or a insurance agent. So that's kind of like the carrot that they dangle to get you into the business. But a lot of agents will literally work 50, 60, 70 hours. I literally did this in the beginning. I lost thousands and thousands of dollars in my first 30 days as a life insurance agent. And I literally would have made more money after quitting and going full time if I just got a job, worked the 50 hours that I was putting in every single week, and I went to McDonald's and just started going behind flipping some burgers. And there's so many things that there's so many reasons why. Some people don't have the natural skill. People don't know how to make the money. There's so many risks that are involved when it comes to selling life insurance. This is not just an industry where you can come in, learn how to make some sales, and you make some money. And that's kind of what they promise for you. But so many agents, and the average agent, after interviewing, I've interviewed over hundreds of agents, the average agent really only makes $2,000 to $3,000 a month profitably as a life insurance agent. So as you're getting started, you see probably everyone flexing, everyone like showing off their Lamborghinis and like this facade that goes on. Most people are broke, and I'm going to share with you later how broke people are. For example, someone sold over $200,000 of premium, and this individual told me that they've only made maybe $2,000 a month after selling $200,000 of premium, which is insane. So the first one is most agents would go ahead and make more money working at McDonald's. The second truth that I wish I knew, the hard truth, is when I got started in life insurance, I went all in. You need to know that you are starting a real business, okay? You are not just going in, learning how to sell, and you're going to sit back and make all those commissions. That's at least what I thought in the beginning. So I was like, man, I'm just going to a sales job. I'm going to get some leads. They're going to give me some leads. I'm going to make some sales, and I'll be good to go. No, there are so many different skills that you have to learn and that you have to develop as a life insurance agent or an insurance agent. It's not just come in, make some sales. You have to learn how to figure out marketing. You have to figure out client retention. You got to figure out systems typically. You got to figure out nurturing campaigns and back end, software systems that you have to use, implementing a CRM, how to dial, how to, make sure all these things are taken care of. So a lot of people are like kind of tricked in the industry. They're like, oh, I'm just going to start selling life insurance. I'm going to just go out there and make all this money. But no, you are signing up to be a business owner. You are signing up to take all the responsibility. You are signing up to have to manage everything to make money. So if you're an employee, or you've never owned a business, or never even wanted to be an entrepreneur, or never really thought about owning a business, don't get into life insurance. Because most life insurance companies out there are simply set up for you to be a life insurance or an insurance agent business owner. Okay, it's not just this glamorous, make all this money. Be prepared to own your own business if you're getting into the life insurance industry. Third thing that I wish I learned is this. If this is your first sales job, don't do this. If you don't like sales, don't do this. If you have never sold anything, don't do this. Okay, so many people that I think get started in the industry, they're kind of tricked. They take some desperate people in the industry who've only worked at like retail, or they've only worked in, restaurants. And they're like, man, you need to get out of that dead end job and you need to make all this money selling life insurance. or insurance. And get into insurance, you're going to make so much more money. You're going to be happier. And I've spoken to so many people who have made the transition and like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And there's people who love sales. There's people who have done sales before. There's people who know how to communicate. And sales is a really difficult skill to learn. And if you have no care for wanting to help people, if you've never sold anything to anybody, if you've never tried to sell something and had a success there, do not go into the industry, because this is how you make your money, by hunting. You have to make your money by convincing, by being able to ask questions, by being able to sell a product to someone. And some people have like no communication skills, have no people skills, have no idea how to even communicate, and they're trying to get into sales because they talk like this. And it's sad. They're tricked. They're tricked. So if you've never done sales, the only reason I was able to make it through and actually struggle through my first year as an agent was simply because I knew how to sell. I was knocking on doors, selling high ticket tree removal. When the winter came, I was selling snow removal services, shoveling snow. I was selling stickers at a young age. I opened up my first lawn care service when I was 17 years old. And I built that up, but every single day was selling. So I had to take some time to figure it out. But if I didn't have that sales background, I would have absolutely lost my mind and been like, what am I even doing? Why am I trying this? And a lot of people feel that way. Fourth hard lesson that I had to learn is this industry is worse than the used car industry. Don't risk your future for your commissions. A lot of people get in this industry and they actually don't understand the actual side of the business that a lot of people aren't aware of. This is a dirty industry. When I first got started, I didn't really realize what actually goes on. A lot of clients are put in bad positions. A lot of insurance products in general are really bad for people. There's annuities that are structured the wrong way. There are, term products where that you could invest your money better into the market and get a better return than going with some term products. There are whole life products that are absolutely terrible for the prospect. There's IULs that people don't know how to fund correctly because they're just trying to get rich. They're thinking about, how can I make money? How can I make money? How can I make money? But there's a huge issue with how people are served. And a lot of people, when they look up when they're 50 and 60 and they have bad products, they will come back and they will be pissed at you. So don't sell something that you don't know how it actually works. Don't just sell something because your upline told you this is how it's going to make you all that money. Don't sacrifice your integrity of who you are, because people are going to try to train you the wrong way, because they know if you skip corners, if you maybe don't ask medical questions the same way, if you don't dive deep. And I've had people even put no on health questions and do really, 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 really unethical stuff. And if you don't know, if you're oblivious, you might just fall into the trap. Oh yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. But you'll look up and there's consequences. There are people that get their licenses revoked. There are people that have fines that are insane. There are people that actually can go to jail in this industry because of how shady and how sketchy it is. So when you get started, just know that you need to be careful with who you trust, because this industry is dirty and everyone is so in it for themselves, and there's so much greed. And ultimately, unfortunately, the clients are at the detriment of how bad this industry is. So be mindful of that. Number 5 is, please do not sell your friends' insurance to your friends or your family. You will regret this. My first ever job was at a large company where I got started. I remember my dad's going to come up here multiple times in this. I'm like, well, hey dad, I got this new insurance job. I just got my license and they're telling me to call my friends and family. He's like, oh, so you're just calling your friends and family? You probably don't want to do that. I was like, yeah, I'm going to make all this money. And I did. And I was a top agent in the Delaware, Maryland, Virginia area because I sold my friends and family. And I had a good amount of relationships. I was pretty trusted. And looking back, I regretted this. It was just so awkward. Like, I was calling friends and cousins and like, hey guys, I'm going to do an assessment for you. And can we go into your take home income? Can we see how much money you have saved? Because we got to figure out what insurance product we want to sell you. And I would call them, I would set the appointment, and then I'd have some guy who was the head of the office, who was considered the upline, and he'd come on and he'd close the deals, and I would only get a 50% commission. So I realized, looking back, that this is a model that the insurance companies will use. They'll recruit you in, They'll get you to call 2, 3 friends of your family. They'll sell 2, 3 of your friends of your family. You then don't have anybody else to call. You leave the business, and guess who gets your book of business, and guess who gets to keep the client? The person that recruited you, because that is their lead generation strategy. So not only are they taking advantage of you, but you're probably not going to make it through, and ultimately you're going to feel weird when you leave and you see your friends and family like, hey, you still doing that insurance thing? And you're like, no. They're like, what the heck? I just bought an insurance policy from you the other day. And you're like, oh yeah, by the way, super weird, super awkward. I regret doing it, and you would probably too. Sixth thing is, the highest compensation plan that you get offered will not make you more money. Remember that story I told you earlier? The guy who sold over $200,000 of life insurance, and he's now in thousands of dollars of debt, and he also only made $2,000 to $3,000 a month. He was like, he was like, man, well, I don't want to go after a lower compensation because my compensation's so high right now. And I was like, bruh, just because you have high compensation does not mean that you will make money. And so many new agents run to the company that has the highest compensation rather than need to be going to the company that will have the best structure, the best systems, the best leads, the best coaching, the best accountability, and the system that will actually allow you to be profitable. Okay, because it doesn't matter what your comp is. Your comp could be 5,000%, but if you can't sell, it doesn't matter. Your comp could be 3,000%, but if you don't know how to actually close a deal, retain a client, and have a system that's going to allow you to do it over and over and over again, you're going to struggle to make money. So don't don't just pick a company that has 110%, 140%, 150% because of the highest compensation. That is an illusion to get you thinking, man, like this is the best opportunity. I'm going to get the highest commission because earlier I told you life insurance is not a sales role. It's just like where you just plug and play and you get commission. It's different. If you worked at, a car dealer where you don't have the investments, you don't have the lead costs, you don't have these things, commission is actually kind of important. But in life insurance, just because you have a high comp, they're probably also not going to give you leads, which you have to pay for. They're also probably not going to give you a phone system that you have to figure out. They're probably also not going to give you a customer care team that's going to help you make money. They're probably also not going to be able to give you like real systems. You have to go spend all this money, spend all this money, spend all this money. And at the end of it, you're going to look up and be like, man, I'm getting chargebacks. I'm paying for leads. I have the highest comp though, but I'm not making any money. And that's the trick that they're going to kind of like walk you through that I lived for a bit that I just want you to be aware of. Don't go after the highest comp. Okay. 7. Speaking of my dad, he told me this. I remember the first time I was like, hey man, I left my job and I said, Dad, I'm working for this company. I explained the structure. I can come in, I can sell, and then I can start recruiting people. I can get them under me, and then eventually I can live on a beach, and then I can make all this money, retire you guys, and ultimately like have financial freedom. That's what was sold to me. And he was like, dude, you're dumb. You're in an MLM. And I was like, nah, I'm not an MLM. And I was so brainwashed. Like, this is the structure. This is what you're supposed to do. This is how you make all your money. How are you going to tell me I'm an MLM? You should be supporting me, dude. And this is number 7. You are in an MLM/pyramid scheme. Sorry to break it to you. If you right now are having to recruit people constantly, you're in an MLM. If you're told to call your friends and family to work with you, you're an MLM. If you're talked about how you can build a structure and have teams and downlines and have these people under you and have like all these different people to build teams and they can build teams and they can build teams and you can make all this money, you're in an MLM. And an MLM structure, which I knew this earlier, is just to recruit you, get your butt in a seat, get you to recruit as many people as possible, and then hopefully they can come in and recruit everyone. But they actually don't care about your success when it comes to making money. You don't make money in the industry by recruiting people. You really don't. You make money by selling life insurance. And then you make the money by then teaching someone else first how to make money as well. But the problem in this industry is that you recruit all these people and everyone that you're around is like, you making money? No. Are you making money? No. What's going on over here? Are you making money? No. But why are we still recruiting people? I don't know, because this is the way that we make all of our money, is by having all these people. And then you eventually have all these people that start making a few sales. They start getting a few sales, and then you're like, wow, this is cool. And then eventually, if you have so many recruits, you'll make a little bit, but you're screwing a lot of people over. And I wish I knew this earlier. And actually, I was fortunate. I didn't go through this. I kind of stood back a little bit and was like, I'm not falling into this trap. And fortunately enough, I did. They specifically wanted me to recruit everyone. And I asked one of my upline people that you would all know on the internet. I was like, hey man, if I can't make money for myself, how am I supposed to recruit someone else? And they were like, don't worry about feeding someone else's family. And that right there was the reason I knew that this industry is jacked up, because people come in here to change their lives and make money. And if you were just trying to push that under the rug, you need to be careful. And if that's what you're being told right now, RUN. Run, 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 run. Number 8 lesson I wish I knew is that you must know how to sell. You must know how to get good leads and service your clients, or your bank account will not grow. When I got started in the industry, the only skill that I had was sales, and sales was the only skill that kept me above water. Um, Really allowed me to live. Is just I knew how to sell at a really, really, really high level because of all the sales reps that I've done in the past. So I came with a great wealth of knowledge. I mean, it took me 14 days to sell my first policy, 14 or 15 days. And when I started getting some traction, I was like, man, why am I not making money? Because I realized that there's so many other variables that are important for your success. You can't just have one of these skills if you want to make it in the industry. You must have, if you want to make a lot of money, which I did my first year as a life insurance agent, is I got good at selling, number one. Number two is that I had to get good leads. There was a time when I was rocking this one lead vendor, and everyone knows them. And I started telling people about it. I was like, man, you guys got to get these leads. I was crushing it. I was selling my face off. The leads were so good because leads are so important in this business. Probably the lifeline of this business. And then eventually it got oversaturated. Everyone and their brother was on this lead source. I don't know why I was so dumb to tell everyone, but I was like, it's going to help someone. Let's give them. So I gave away my number one lead source. And then sure enough, two months in, that lead source, the quality tanked. I started getting less people picking up. I was getting no one on the phone. And I was like, what the heck is going on? The lead source got saturated and my income and my sales completely dipped. I was like, oh my gosh. So then I had to learn a whole different skill. I had to learn how to do Facebook ads. And I started to learn Facebook ads. And I started generating some leads and started closing leads. And then I paid someone to teach me how to do it. I invested money into the business to teach me. And eventually I kind of got that figured out. And then when I had my sales skill combined with my ability to get leads, I was like, man, I can actually do this and do it well and make some money. And then lastly was client service. And then I was still getting chargebacks and like I wasn't making that much money. I was like, where's all my money going? And I realized that I was spending so much time selling that I was neglecting my clients. So you just can't have one out of the three. You really have to be able to manage all three: sell well, get good leads, and know how to manage your time to service your book of business and your clients so that you can make some money. Because this business, you're going to be on your toes. You're going to be working a lot. You're going to be running around. You're going to be trying to solve problems. You're trying to fix that, solve this, break that broke. So much changes and so much evolves that if you can't wake up and have that mentality, you're going to struggle in this industry, and it's really, really difficult. Lesson number 9 that I wish I knew was clients will cancel their policies and you will owe the insurance companies thousands of dollars. If this is new news to you, this was new news to me when I first got started as a life insurance agent. I thought you just come in here, make some sales, make some money, and you're golden. But one day I sold a policy, 2 policies actually, a his and hers, and I make all that. I'm like, I run in my brother's room, like, hey, bro, we're going to make like $3,000 off these 2 sales. Let's freaking go. I told him, we're going to change our life. I'm pumped for you. I'm like, it's insane. The next day, I go to log into the insurance company's portal and I see that I owe $3,000. They paid me the money, but now I owe it back. And that's because clients will cancel their policies. This is not just a business where people buy something and they keep it. You have to learn how to retain your clients, okay? Just because they buy over the phone doesn't mean that they're going to make the payment. So every single month for 12 months, you have to, at least when it comes to life insurance, you have to make sure that your client makes their payment. If they don't make their payment for at least the first 9 months, you will owe the insurance company money, meaning that you have to owe them the money that they paid you, which is called a chargeback. So if you don't have money kind of saved in this business, if you don't have the ability to have like a nest egg to, like, if you get chargebacks to pay them back, then you can be in huge financial debt. And there's a lot of people that run into this huge financial debt that recruit teams. They get chargebacks, thousands of dollars. They don't have the money because they're not making sales. And then they owe the insurance companies $10,000, $20,000 before they even look up. So there's a lot of risk that comes to building an insurance business. There's a lot of risk that they don't talk about when you become an agent, is that in both sides, P&C and, commercial insurance and life insurance, all insurance products have the risk of having chargebacks, and chargebacks can ruin your life. And if you don't have that or consider that risk, Yes, there's a lot of potential reward in the industry, but in order to have the reward, you have to have a lot of tolerance to risk. And if you're not really willing to have that tolerance to risk, you will struggle to make money. This is why entrepreneurs make a lot of money. It's not because they're smarter than someone who works a 9 to 5. It's because they're willing to take on more risk. And with more risk typically comes more upside. And with more upside there creates a larger salary and hopefully a take home pay. But that's on a different note. So just please be mindful of that. This carrot here, lesson number 10, is the carrot that got me into the business, the carrot that kept me inside of the company when I was struggling. There were so many red flags that I experienced, and I'll talk about them here in a second. Number 10 is financial freedom is a lie to recruit you, okay, and ultimately keep you in the business. So when I was struggling in the business, I'd go to my upline, I'm like, hey man, what's going on? He's like, man, well, all you got to do is keep recruiting, keep building. Like eventually you're going to be able to sell this business for millions and millions of dollars to have all this financial freedom. Look at this one person out of tens and tens and tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars. He did it. Why can't you? And then I took a step back. I'm like, bro, so many people have done this. Why is there one person that is only the poster child or the golden child that has made the money to sell their business and make millions of dollars? This doesn't make sense. And this is kind of that carrot that they're going to dangle. Man, leave your job, go all in. If you work hard, if you're going to plug and play, like if you go all in here, you're going to make all this money. Like you got to go in on yourself. You can have this financial freedom. And look at this one guy. This one guy, he has the Maserati. He has the attractive spouse. He has the house on the beach. Like, don't you want to be like him? But it plays to the wrong people. Most people don't want that life. Most people don't have the skills to get those results. But it's the constant carrot that they'll continue to use to brainwash you when you're thinking about leaving, when you're thinking about quitting your job, when you think about wanting to do something different. You're like, well, there's that one carrot that keeps me in the business. I'm going to continue to push through and persevere. Or I'm going to go out there and actually work for this guy because I believe he can get me there. And that carrot ruins a lot of lives. It's not so accurate. Again, I cannot share with you the amount of people that have got their license and ended up in worse positions after getting their insurance license after they started to apply it. Rather than just saying, hey, like, I'm not getting my insurance license, like, let's not do this. They'd probably be better off. People have lost houses. People have lost cars. A guy was told to sell his car for leads to make this financial freedom attainable. Like this goal, this carrot that's out there can crush a lot of people. So as you're going through this and as you're understanding like what you're getting into, you have to really take everything with a grain of salt. You have this optimism. You have this huge dopamine hit in the beginning where you're fired up because you're leaving your dead end job and you're like, man, all you see is the hotness. All you see is the good things. It's the honeymoon stage of the business and it's all proposed by this carrot. But eventually through enough pain, that honeymoon, she becomes a little bit less attractive. She's not doing her hair like she used to. She's just kind of like stepping away. She's not wearing her heels. She's not like talking to me like she used to. And then you're like, what am I getting myself into? But that carrot will ruin lives. Number 11, which I knew here, is don't quit your current role until you have enough evidence. Okay? The evidence is important. You need to ensure that before you leap into this business, that this is a real way that you can provide for your family. This is a real way that you can win. Because I gave up everything in the insurance industry and I had no idea. I took one story, I took one testimonial, and I was like, I'm all in. See ya. I'm going in. Catch you later. I'm going to make all this money. And a lot of people do this. I've spoke to people who have left their corporate six-figure jobs, who have left previous businesses to pursue this, and they've ended up broke. And all I ask for any new agent who is getting in this industry is just have some evidence, have someone that you can shadow, have some real evidence like, hey, they have a good system, that they're actually making money, that they're providing, that they've been in this business for more than 3 years. So many people get started and they're like, well, I'm going to work for this guy. And he's been in the business for 3 months. There's so many horror stories where like people recruit you, they bring you in and they end up leaving after 5 months because they can't make money as well. So you really need a strong base. You need to have a good team mate that's going to help guide you or be there to hold you accountable. But please don't just give up everything because you have all this optimism and you're going to make all this money. Have real evidence before you really make that jump so that you don't regret the decision. Now, number 12. Is no one is going to save you. There's going to be lonely days. There's going to be lonely nights. There's going to be lonely moments in as your time as a business owner or in this industry. And you can't just magically be like, well, you know, come here, like I'm gonna go back to my 9 to 5. You're making decisions that can really impact your future here, and no one's gonna be there to help. You have to figure this out. If you're a business owner as an insurance agent, which is what 99% of opportunities out there entail in the insurance industry, is that it's all on you. And if you've never been in a position in your life where you're willing to hold all the stress, you're willing to hold yourself accountable, that you're willing to take on all the pain by yourself, then don't become a life insurance agent. Don't become an insurance agent, because no one is going to magically show up, fix your business, help you with lead generation, help you with your sales skill, help you when you're struggling. No, because everyone else around you is in a sense drowning, solving their own problems, trying to figure out how they can make any money, and no one actually cares about you. So if you don't have that mental fortitude, if you don't have that personal grit, if you've never gone through challenges, and most importantly, if you've never faced and handled adversity at a high level, don't become a life insurance agent, because be prepared. You are going to get smacked in the face. And if your first thought is run to someone, or you can go to someone, please help me, no one's going to be there unless you figure it out. Now, my numbers got mixed up here, but we'll go into lesson number 13. Lesson number 13, not number 10, is invest in a customer care rep who can service your clients. It's worth it. One of the best investments that I've made in the business that I wish I'd done earlier, that I feel so dumb, that would have helped me reduce my chargebacks, that would have reduced my stress, and ultimately allow me to sell more policies and make more money, would have been investing in a customer care rep or an admin or someone that I could have found, just to service my business. I could pay them $15 an hour to call my clients, to make sure that they're making their payments, to check up, making sure that they're getting their policies, making sure that, they're happy with their plans, making sure that they're leaving Google reviews, making sure that they're referring friends, making sure if they miss a policy payment that they're getting called and getting back on the books, so we're not getting chargebacks. And inside of our organization now, Legacy Family Life, we actually have 4 of these individuals that are incredible, that keep our business afloat, that ultimately serve our clients at the highest level. And they're so valuable because these individuals, when you're first getting started, will allow you to focus on more of what's income producing. And you have to continue to feed the machine in being an agent. Like, you can't just stop selling for 2 to 3 days and service your clients, because you need to have consistent cash flow, especially in life insurance. If you're spending money on acquiring clients, if you're paying money for ads, running paid ads, if you're running marketing, if you're running any type of expenses, there's a lot of expenses that will add up in the business. And if you just cut off your source by saying, all right, well, I'm going to spend the rest of the week just servicing my clients, you can't generate new revenue. Revenue is crucial. Revenue is the fire in this business. Revenue is the oxygen that will keep your business alive in tough times. And that's only what kept me alive in this business. I was able to learn through my skill of sales and marketing. I did a great job of harvesting cash, but I did a bad job of retaining the cash or keeping this cash inside of the business because of the systems. And I had so many holes in my bucket, and that would have all been fixed if I had a really, really, really strong customer care team. Number 14, if you can't do this without making money for 3 months, then don't start. Okay. Why I say that? Because if you have never sold anything, or you're getting started in the insurance business and you are just looking to make money fast, that is incorrect. There's a ramp up period. And unless you're an absolute rock star, a sales killer, that you've sold life insurance before, you're going to have to go through a ramp up period. I think this ramp up period is typically around 3 months. For me, it was 3 months. For 3 months, I lost money. I got kicked in the face. I didn't want to continue this business, but what gave me hope is that I had the money where I was cool. I was like, hey, I'm investing in a skill set. I'm investing in learning how to sell. I'm investing in my future. So let's take the money that's sitting in my savings account that I'm not doing anything with, that's getting no interest, and let's invest that back into a business that could potentially change my life. And I was willing to take that risk. But if you're just getting started, some people are like, why do you want to get started in the life insurance? And they simply say, well, I want to make all this money and I want to have financial freedom. I'm like, okay, great. How fast do you want to get there? The next 30 days. Those people will never make it in this industry. And that's your mentality. Just don't go into the industry. Just don't. You have no shot. If your goal is to I never had a skill before, I don't really know what I'm doing, and all of a sudden an industry is going to change my bank account just because I'm getting into new industry, then you're delusional. It takes a culmination of massive amounts of different skills to make the money. So if you don't have the money to go all in, if you don't have that ability to have some type of security blanket, or you don't have the belief in yourself, then you're going to struggle. This business, if you're owning a business, like the business provides or tells you to do, you have to have cash to keep the business alive. You can't just have $500 and expect to make all this money that's going to just build your business forever. No, you're going to have to expect to lose money in the beginning. And I did, and you should as well. Last one, rule number 15 is 12, 13, 14, 15 is going to be a good mentor is the only way that you have a shot in this business. What would have saved me from all my heartache? What would have saved me from all my stress? What would have saved me from like those, like, man, I don't know if I can push forward, would be like, hey, going to a mentor who has gone where I want to go, who has gotten the results that I want to get. And I'd be like, hey, man, I'm in this position. I'm in this. I'm not getting pickups, or my lead system's changing, or like everyone's hanging up on me here, or what should I do? Like if my lead acquisition cost is here, or should I go after this market? Should I go after final expense? Should I go after churn? And then I could have gone to my sensei and be like, what should I do? And they could have gave me an answer. It would have saved me months and months of pain. That's honestly why I built this YouTube channel, to help you guys remove the pain that you have to go through as an agent. And if you have a good mentor, I promise you this business will be a lot easier. I promise you that you'll have less worries, less stress, and you'll have more guidance. And a mentor is going to hold you accountable. That's going to say you're not showing up like you should be. That you need to hold yourself accountable. That, hey man, like, are you going to work on the weekends? Because that's what's required. And a mentor that will push you to do what's required, not how you feel. And if you have a mentor in your corner that can be that person, that can give you the direction, that can take all the lessons in pain so that you don't have to, I promise you, you have a higher likelihood of success in this business. But if your mentor is a flake, he doesn't have real success, or she actually hasn't built what you want to build, has no real success or track record, or doesn't have the character traits that you want to develop one day, then don't work with that person. Because a true mentor will help you, will be there for you in the dirt, in the mud, to help you win. And if you do these 12 things, or learn from these 12 lessons, I promise you have a shot in this business. I love you guys. I want you to win. And I hope this brings you value so that you can succeed and crush, provide for your family in a beautiful industry if you learn how to make it work. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Cheers.